I know those of us that have been involved in the new format of Bible study, we're just having such a great time. Amen. And that's not to talk about those that are not here. It's just not. It's just so good. It's so good. Amen. The reason I made that comment was the First Lady and Sister Elizabeth. You know, I was telling the guys, I said, if you wait for a minute, I said, if you think you're going to come in here in our joint Bible study and you're not prepared, I said, you know how old school people used to eat neck bones? And when they were finished with the neck bone, they give it to a dog, and the dog look at it and say, what you want me to do with that? That's the way they do this gospel, but they don't be messing around. If you don't handle your business and do your homework, do your study, boy, you won't get a word in edgewise. Study this word. And with that said, we're going to move on. And I do have a message from God this morning. First of all, let us give way to God. Oh God, you are all powerful, all knowing. You can be every place at the same time, God. You're the only one that has any power. Everybody else that speaks of power is some your imagination, image of their imagination. We thank you so much, oh God, for this is the day you have made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. And that's our choice. You can either rejoice or not rejoice. I say rejoice. So we thank you, God. We thank you for your words. Let the words come out of our mouth and the meditation of our heart. That it might be acceptable to you, oh God. Acceptable to you, oh God. My strength and my Redeemer. Amen. And we want to definitely get those, give regards to those taking us in WBATV. This is Berean Missionary Church, where the pastor is Honorable Ted Milbury. Amen. Just returned to us from his sabbatical for a little while. It was a forced one. It wasn't when he went willingly. It was a forced one, but invigorated and so full of the word. It's been a joy. It's such a joy to hear him and his enthusiasm and love of God. So we're glad to have him back in our presence this morning. Amen. This morning, our message is coming from the Gospel of John. And if those that could would get their Bibles and turn to John, 7th chapter, 14th verse. I'm sorry, 15th verse. John 7:15. Sound like we're about there?
John
7:15. Are we okay?
Yes.
Okay, if you would read that verse, please.
And the Jews followed, saying, I don't know what this man lepers, having never heard him.
Amen. You may be seated. Today, this message was formed by, I had just preached from this chapter the last time or time before. And I just knew that the Lord wasn't pushing me in this way, but that's where he pushed me, right back to these verses again. And today, the message that you're going to hear is the Jews basically were so ignorant about Jesus. And that's what we're going to talk about. So the title of this today is Don't Be Ignorant About Jesus. Okay? So that's basically what we're going to deal with today. And if you would turn to Luke 4. I'm going to pick this up, Luke 4. And I'm going to start at the 16th verse. So he came to Nazareth where he had been and brought up, and this is referring to Jesus. This is where he spent his early years. And as his custom was, he went into the synagogues on the Sabbath day and stood up to read. And he was handed the book of the prophet Isaiah, and when he had opened the book, he found a place where it was written, "The Spirit of the Lord is upon me." Now these things are in reference to him, because he has anointed me to preach the gospel to the poor. He has sent me to heal the brokenhearted, to proclaim the liberty to the captives, and recover sight to the blind, to set liberty to those who are oppressed, to proclaim the acceptable year of the Lord. Then he closed the book and gave it back to the attendant and sat down. And the eyes of all who were in the synagogue were fixed on him. And he began to say to them, "Today, this scripture is fulfilled in your hearing." So all bore witness to him and marveled at the gracious words which proceeded out of his mouth. And they said, "Is this not Joseph's son?" Now, if you would turn back to where we're going to, John 7. We're going to start at the 14th verse there, John 7. Now, that was just an interlude into where we're going with this. And when I read that, I was, because I knew some of the context to it, I was a little filled with content. Because what these Jews are saying is they're really familiar with this Christ. I know he's not parading himself around to be something special.
Well,
you know, we grew up right next door to him, and they're very familiar with who Christ is. This knowledge, this physical knowledge of his presence, and they feel they're aware of all these things. So I was filled with content, because to me, as we go through the verse, you're going to see the levels of the disrespect and the ignorance about who Jesus was. I'm going to pick up at verse 14. It says, "Now about the middle of the feast, Jesus went up to the temple and taught. And the Jews marveled, saying, 'How does this man know letters, having never studied?'" Right. See, it goes back to Luke 4. See this content. What? They're looking at Jesus, and these are some of the things that are running through their mouth. Where did you study?
Well.
Where is your history?
Well.
Who preceded you, and what bad rabbi or what master of the words of the scriptures have you studied on that you might know this word?
Well.
Oh, it was oozing with disrespect. You know, I'm just telling you about me. My spirit is rising in me, and I'm saying, oh, these people, listen to them. And do they realize that they're talking to God? You know, and as these things go on through my mind, I then want you to turn over to Mark 6, or turn back to Mark 6, because it's necessary for this foundation to be set, so you can see the reason I was a little perturbed about reading the word and what I had read. I'm going to pick that up at verse 1. Then he went out from there and came to his own country, and his disciples followed. Once again, talking about Jesus. And when the Sabbath had come, he began to teach in the synagogue. And many hearing him were astonished, saying, "Where did this man get these things? And what wisdom is this which is given to him, that such mighty works are performed by his hands? Is this not the carpenter, the son of Mary, and brother of James, Jose, and Judas, and Simon? And are not his sisters here with us?" So they were offended. Once again, we're pointing back to looking at the Jews, look at Jesus, and make a determination about who he is and what he can and cannot do. Now, I must tell you by this time, I'm really full and rage. And I know some of you might be where I'm at. And I'm going to play this out a little bit. Can I be honest with you? Okay. I appreciate that. I'll be honest. You know how they got those reality games? And you put the glasses on and you go back to the future or go to the future, go back to the past. I was saying that I wish I had a reality game that I could put those goggles on and go back to 30 or 33 AD when this was being said, and I would have punched that guy in the store. No, I'm just saying that's what I felt. You know what I'm saying? Do you know you're talking to my Lord? Do you know you're talking to Jesus? Woo! I'm up to here, man. I'm like, hey, you see, y'all got to know something. I'm his servant. I'm not him. I got some problems. I said I felt like, and I said a game of virtual reality. I didn't say I would do it. I don't want people to think I'm violent, because God wouldn't like that. My wife can tell you I ain't violent. Okay, so this is where I was at. Couldn't Jesus have said something like this? God's elect, God's chosen, his covenant people of God. Where is your knowledge about the Christ? Couldn't he have said that? Couldn't he have turned around to the Jews and said, what say the book about me?
Well,
couldn't he say, what says the prophet about the coming of the Messiah?
well,
couldn't he have said that? He could have just turned around there and questioned them about this, but we could see that this ignorance about Jesus was apparently clear. Caught off guard. Not prepared. They weren't prepared for Jesus. He's an imposter. He's a phony. He's a fraud. He's a fake. That's what they're saying. That's what's coming out of their mouth.
well.
Now Jesus points out their sin immediately. Check this out. You go to verse 16. He says, Jesus answered them and said, my doctrine is not mine, but his. We said, all right.
All right.
Yeah, this ain't about me. This wasn't. It's about me, but it ain't from me. It's from the Father. He said, you want to know about this doctrine? You want to know about this doctrine that I'm talking about? Then believe on him who he sent.
Right.
That's what the word says. That's what the book says.
Right.
See, he's taking them back. Where is your knowledge about the Holy One, the Christ, the King of Kings and Lord of all lords?
Yeah.
See, that's what he's saying to them. He then goes on. But if anyone desires to do his will, see, he catches them up. Anyone who desires to do his will, then that means sees it the way he sees it. Anybody that abide, remains, and continue in him, joined to him, will know about this doctrine that his son is now talking to you about.
Yeah.
See, I know we can get some witnesses in here. Somebody knows about the doctrine of God.
Yeah.
Somebody can testify about the. We just heard a testimony.
Come on.
We just heard a testimony about Jesus. So we know that this intimate relationship is possible. He's telling them God's gospel, God's doctrine is believe in him who he has sent. Jesus, I'm wondering, Jesus wasn't wondering. I'm saying, what is the reason that he had to tell the Jews? What's the reason they didn't already know? Ignorance is no excuse, people. And my motive here today is just to tell you, I'm telling you this word jumped off the page to me, man, because we got so many people that are ignorant about who Jesus is, and they run around talking about what they think.
Yes.
Don't nobody want to hear your opinion?
Yes.
Somebody want to hear about the light and the salt of Christ.
Yes.
See, they're not interested in your opinion. See, so I'm telling you, I was really moved by this. In verse 18, he points out something. He says to them, he who speaks for himself seeks his own glory. But he who seeks the glory of the one who sent him is true, and there is no unrighteousness in him. I love this verse. He said, he who is motivated by his own self-interest. Let's pick that word up. Self-interest, self-righteous, self-accomplished, self. Not selfless, but self-driven from his own motivational need. He's saying here that his self-interest validates his deception. Oh, that's good. That's good. See, that takes us right back to the foundation of man. He does what he wants, what he wills, what he desires, because it seeks his own purpose. See, I don't know, maybe I'm just excited about how this thing comes out. And then he says, hear this. Though you grind a fool up in mortar and crush grain with a pistol, yet his foolishness will not depart from you. Yeah, you know, you got to hear this guy. You got to see what I see and what you should see when these people are talking. When these people are giving out what they call the word and their light and salt about who Jesus is. You got to pick it up now. You got to see it. See, I see this. He's saying that you can crush a man, that's Proverbs, and down to the finest increments and sifting through himself, and he'll still be a fool. He'll still come out foolish. When a wise man argues with a fool, whether the fool rages or laughs, there should be no peace. See, these things are going on in my mind. I don't know what's going on in your mind. Is what's going on in your mind? Oh, that sounds good. Oh yeah, he got some. Okay. This is the point that I'm getting to. What is the reason that you're listening to them? See, that's where I'm at. See, I'm appalled that your ears are open and hearing what it is that they have to say about something that they don't know.
All right.
Then Jesus reveals to them their hypocrisy. Check this out. In 19, he says, Moses gave you the law. He said Moses gave you the law. And then his point is, no one keeps the law. If I'm guilty, so are you. Right? Hey, nobody keeps the law, for there's none righteous, no, not one. There's none, oh God, that follow you and your precepts and your ways. He's saying that everybody is turned aside. Everybody's turned away. That's what Romans tell us. They tell us that. So if that's the case, how do you decide on who should die? See, that's what Jesus is saying to him. The hypocrisy here at its best. I want you to think about it. If we turn over to John 8, I don't want you to turn because I'm going to give you the story here. The story behind the lady caught in adultery. Okay, here it is. See, the first thing that they do to Jesus is come to him and say, Jesus, we caught this woman in adultery. Moses say kill her. Preference. Moses say she should be stoned. What say you, Jesus? What say you about what this woman has done according to Moses and the law? See, now, here's what you got to understand. Either way Jesus answered, it's a problem. Okay, now let me show you what I'm talking about. If Jesus rejects the law of Moses, he is condemned. Absolutely. Not what he said. We can't take what he said in any part of the world. They didn't know that he didn't come to be against the law. He came to fulfill it. See, he came to fulfill the law. And then, let's say that if he had held to Moses' law, then his reputation as a compassionate forgiver would have been gone. So he can't win either way. So here's what Jesus does. Jesus says to himself, and he bends down to the ground and writes a little bit, and I don't know what he writes. None of us know what he writes. We can guess. That's just a guess. And then he says something to him like, he who is without sin, cast a stone at her first. You see? He just went back to Moses and the law. You can't keep it. You can't keep it. He can't keep it. Can't nobody keep it. There ain't nobody here that can keep the law of Moses. Yet you're going to determine who dies. That's what they're doing. They're putting this woman on trial right in front of Jesus. And they expect for Jesus to convict him. That she should go to death. See, that's what saved them. But one by one, they dispersed from the youngest to those.
Yeah.
And Jesus then says to her, woman, where are their accusers? Hey, are there none? And then I accuse you now. Go sin no more.
Yes.
See, that's Jesus' answer.
Well.
He didn't come to convict the law. Hey, you know what I'm saying? He was an incarnated law in itself.
Amen.
Man. He then says to them, why do you seek to kill me? Here's their response. Their answer, you have a demon in you who seeks to kill you. And when I read that, my mind went to a lot of places, but the main place it went to was the world. It's amazing how the world receives everything but the truth. The only thing that's contested in the world is the truth. Have you ever thought about the reason for it? It's because it's Satan's domain. It's his place. It's his habitation. He's been given a lease on it. He's allowed to do what he wants to do. He's the father of lies. He's the father of deceptions. He's the father of the lost. You understand? He can do what he wants to do down here. See, we're looking at the impact of his influence on the world. Not his influence on you as a Christian, as a man or woman of God, but on the world. The least of all valued things in the world is the truth. It's the world's job to make you think that it doesn't exist. If the world hates you, know that it hated me before it hates you. Hated you. If you were of the world would love its own. John 15, 18, and 19. If you think the world doesn't hate you, I got a simple experiment I want you to try. I want you to go out tomorrow and say something as simple as changing gender is wrong. Somebody knows what I'm talking about. I didn't say anything. I just make a comment. It's a comment. Now, God said you're fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous are thou my works, and that my heart knows. He's saying that everything he created is good. You might not understand it. You might not see it and understand it because we can't get to God. We can't get to his understanding level of the reason he does what he does. But he's a potter, and he can do it. Can't the potter make one vessel for iron and one for desire? Can he make a man? And can he make a woman?
Yes.
Oh, I'm just saying. He's God. That's all. I'm just saying.
My Lord.
All right, then.
In verse 21, where he says, Jesus answered and said to them, I did one work, and you marvel. Moses therefore gave you circumcision. Not that it is from Moses, but from the fathers. And you circumcise a man on the Sabbath if one receives a circumcision on the Sabbath, so that the law of Moses should not be broken. Are you angry with me because I made a man completely well on the Sabbath? Well, once again, he's referring to John 5, 1 through 16, where he healed the man. And he's given them this hypocrisy about where they're at and what they're thinking and how they're thinking. And his point is that if Moses' law said ceremonial cleaning just for one part of the body is permitted on the Sabbath through an act of circumcision, how much more should the actual healing of the entire body be permitted? I'm just saying. That's what he's saying. He then goes to verse 24 and it says, in 24 it says, do not judge according to appearance, but judge with righteous judgment. See, he's just pointing out their hypocrisy. How flawed their thinking is, where they're at. Do not judge with legalism or motivated by self-righteousness. Have some spiritual discernment. In John 9:31, the blind man says, oh, it's a marvelous thing that you do not know where he's from. But he has opened my eyes. Now we know that God does not hear sinners. But if one does the will of God, then he hears him. Now, we know since the world began, it's been unheard of a man healing a man that was blind. If this man was not from God, he could do nothing. See, that's what I'm talking about. See, your eyes need to be open to the truth. Now, somebody had to be studying the truth, reading the truth, aware of the truth, to know about this truth.
All right.
See, it goes back to, I'll get to it. I'm getting ahead of myself. You know how impatient I am. See, their problem intensifies. Okay? As we get to verse 25, you can see how this ignorance intensifies. Now, some of them from Jerusalem said, is this not he whom they seek to kill? In paraphrasing, that's simply saying, to me, he's saying, what is the reason that he's still living? What is the reason that he's not dead? What is the reason that you have not killed him? That's what he's saying in context. We don't understand. We got some of those people here right now today. We got some people out there definitely listening, a whole lot of them, saying the same thing. What's the reason he's not dead? From their position of ignorance, not knowing who Jesus is. Now, there's a reason for this. They said it with their mouths, the Jews. Amen? Yeah, we can get amen on it. We say it with our behavior. Amen? Yeah, amen. Okay, I'm going to point it out. You tell me where you fall out on this line. Just this past week, 168 hours, how many of them were spent with Jesus? How many minutes? How many seconds? How many hours out of that 168 that you voted here? Oh, okay. Well, let's not be so picky, Andy. Let's not be so picky. Let's go back to the last week. 672 hours. You got to count for me? You got something you want to say about, I didn't study that all week, but back here I studied 32 hours, and you still got 0. Oh, let's broaden it up a little bit. Over the last year, 8,064 hours. How many can you say you spent in the presence of Jesus, praising him, worshiping him, thanking him, just all because he's here? Come on now. See, we got some of those people here. We got some of those people that don't know nothing and want to tell everybody everything. Nobody interested in your opinion. They're interested in this light and salt. They're interested in seeing pastors come up and preach that gospel, taking the scriptures line by line and word by word. That's what they're interested in. I wouldn't done. Let's move on a little bit further. So my question to you is, why are you here? Come on. Ask yourself the question. Why are you here? Why are you wasting your time? It's serious, people. You want someone else to do your reading of the word for you. You want someone else to do your study. You want someone else to receive, research, and teach. You never come to give, but only to take. You listen just enough to have a couple of verses that you can quote, that you might give you're the first to offer an opinion about this Jesus, and you don't know nothing. That's who these Jews are. That's who these people they're listening to. How can you listen to somebody that don't know him personally? Oh, you got to spend some time in the book. You got to spend some time with him.
Yes, sir.
See, they were ignorant about Jesus. Don't you be ignorant about Jesus.
Not to be. Oh, my Lord.
I want to make sure that I say to you, I didn't, nor am I calling anyone ignorant. I simply want you to look and see where you fit. And if that's you, so say you.
Come on now.
In 26, he goes on with this ignorance and says, but look, he speaks boldly and they say nothing to him. Do the rulers know indeed that this is truly the Christ? And what he's referring to is 748. If you turn over to 748 for a minute, he says this. This is what the Pharisee says. Has any other ruler believed in him? You know, the Pharisees believed in him. But this crowd that does not know the law is accursed. The Pharisees say that they're cursed. You don't know. You have no idea. See, listen to him. Listen to this raving lunatic that's going to tell you about something that he doesn't know. He's accursed. Now, where have you heard that? Where is that familiar? See, they copied Jesus. They copied turn to Galatians 1. You got to hear this because it puts it in context for you, give you an understand the reason that the devil is copying what God does. And I'm going to pick that up at verse.
First chapter?
Yeah, first chapter of Galatians. And I'm going to pick that up at the 6th verse. He says, I marvel that you are turning away so soon from him who called you into the grace of Christ to a different gospel. Which is not another, but there are some of you who trouble you and want to pervert the gospel of Christ. But even if we or any other angel from heaven preach any other gospel to you than what we have preached to you, let him be accursed. Okay, now, that wasn't good enough. He didn't just say be damned. He goes on and piles some stuff on that damn double dip. He then says, as we have said before, so now I say again, if anyone preaches any other gospel to you than what we have received, let him be accursed.
Well,
see, that's his plan. His plan is to make things look closely assimilated to the light and the salt in Jesus, that you don't know the difference and you're following a strange path. That's why you have to divide this word yourself. Divide the word to show yourself approved to God. You need to be up under it, thirsting for it and hungering for the word of God. And he will not allow you to go astray. In 27, here they go further to reveal their ignorance about Jesus, because it takes us right back to my introduction to you. In 27 it says, however, we know where this man is from, but when the Christ comes, no one knows where he's from. Okay, once again, they going back to that little Bobo and Popo and Johnny Tommy and Robert and Tommy and then that's Jesus. Yeah, he lived in Section 8 over there in the high rise right next to Martha and them. Yeah, see, they familiar. They're too familiar with this Jesus. Yeah, the one that was always kicking my ass on the basketball team. You know. See that physical presence. See, they coming into ways to make spiritual discernment.
Woo!
They, you know, they write the check that they can't cash. No, that ain't gonna work. They can cash it. So here, I love this. Jesus is so good because he validates their position and then he cuts their legs out for money. Girls, check this out. He says, then Jesus cried out and he said, as he taught the temple, saying, you both know me and you know where I'm from. Now, we know what he's doing here. And we know that they couldn't have the foggiest idea about who Jesus is. Because they haven't spent any time for it. They don't need to know him. They self-righteous in their own mind. I don't need nothing to make me straight with God. I'm straight with God already. Who told you? I spent some time with myself, and myself told myself.
That's all right.
I'm just saying, that's what it sounds like they say to me. But check this out. Check this out. Jesus then goes and says, I have not come of myself, but he who sent me is true. Whoa, check this out now. He hits him right in the gut. This is knockout. This is KO. Whom you do not know.
All right now.
You see, that's knockout. They flat out. You do not know him. How can you know about me and my presence and who I am and what I've done for you? What I've done for you. I'm blessing you right now, being in your presence. And you have no idea of who I am. And you don't know him. Nor do you know me.
Jesus.
Question. Why is there in the hand of fool purchase price for wisdom when he has no heart for it? If your heart is not set on God, if you're not planning to serve him, to honor him, to respect him, to love him, to call on him, if you haven't spent any time with him, 168 hours, I want you to think about that. Every time you waste this week, every time you go somewhere and do something you ain't got no business doing, I want you to think of Elder Donnie and say, man, 168 hours, and I'm going right back to church this week, and I didn't even pick up the book. I didn't even call on Jesus. I didn't even think about it. I didn't even pray. I didn't even, yeah, but grace is still waiting on you. Grace is still there. Mercy is still at your hand. Day and night, night and day. Yeah.
My Lord.
Yeah, we really need to think about that.
Amen. Amen. My Lord.
Their problem intensifies a little more because now their conviction is divided. If the foundation of your house is broken, it can't be repaired.
Well,
unless you fix the foundation. Okay? You got to fix the foundation first. If you're going to repair the house. Because everything you're building on is broke. It's going to be okay. All right? Translated, if you're placing your hope in anything else but Jesus, it's for now. It's a waste of time. Now, I couldn't wait to bring this up because I had to. I was listening to a world-acclaimed pastor last week. And he big that. Oh my goodness. I had to bring this to you because he said something that I didn't agree with.
Right now, Donnie.
And I didn't agree with it at all.
All right.
To the point that I'm looking at this guy, this mega $1 preacher, giving the gospel, and him saying something that I know is wrong.
Come on.
So it took me to the Word. And the first thing I did was to go check it out to make sure that I was balanced and had, I was on the right page. So I want you to turn to Matthew 16.
All right.
This has something to do with what I'm talking about. I go around a lot of ways of trying to make my point. Matthew 16. And I'm going to pick that up at verse 13. When Jesus came into the region in Caesarea Philippi, he asked the disciples, saying, "Who do men say that I am?" The Son of Man. So they said, some say John the Baptist, some Elijah, and others Jeremiah or one of the prophets. And he said to them, "But who do you say that I am?" Simon Peter answered and said, "You are the Christ, the Son of the living God." Now, this answer that Jesus is getting ready to reply is to Simon. It's regarding Simon's comment, regarding who gave the wisdom to Simon about his comment, and his comment to Simon about who he is. Okay. Jesus answered and said to him, "Blessed are you, Simon Bar-Jonah, for flesh and blood has not revealed this to you, but my Father who is in heaven. And I also say to you that you are Peter, and on this rock I will build my church, and the gates of Hades shall not prevail against it." Now, this is what Jesus was saying. He was saying, "And I say to you that you, Simon Peter, small, pebble, little rock, little stone, what you say is true. And on this rock, that Jesus Christ is the Son of the living God, and Hades shall not prevail against it." Christ is the foundation. Right. Nothing can be built on him. It has to be built on Christ. You can't build the foundation of the church on Peter. And because he preached at Pentecost and 2,000 people came, or 3,000 people came to faith. I'm sorry. I had to go there, but my reasons for going there were valid. I haven't stopped listening to that preacher. I still love him. I still listen to him. But what it proved to me, what it shows me, that you know what? God ain't giving it all to you. You don't know it all. Who do you think you are? Right. You need me. Right. You need the body. Right. You need each other. I got something that you ain't got. Yeah. I know I got this truth about this verse, and you ain't got that. you understand where I'm coming from? Yeah. This little dumb Donnie, I'm saying he's telling us, oh, you got to come together. You got to come together for this gospel. You got to share it with one another. Yeah. You got to bring it. Amen. Yeah. Got to bring it. And I'm sorry, going back. I got to get back. All right. I'm in John 7:30, I think. Yeah, 30. Therefore they sought to take him, but no one laid hands on him because his heart had not come. God is sovereign. And he has a sovereign timetable. God is the potter. And he does what he wants with everything else. What he does and what he says is yes and amen. And we need to learn that. We need to learn that. When God permits, when he spends his time, then he allows things to happen that we might become aware of those things. But until then, we'll have to sit and wait. I have no idea. And I know that when I get to heaven, I'm not going to ask him about it because it's not important. And if you would, just for a minute, turn to Hebrews 1, talking about this timetable of God. Because God, I only started verse 1 in Hebrews 1. It says, "You are God who at various times and various ways spoke in time past to the fathers by prophet, has in these last days spoken to us by his Son, and he is appointed heir to all things, through whom also he made the world, so being the brightness of his glory. Ooh, brightness of his glory. Ooh, that says so much. There's the brightness of his glory, he says here, and express image of his person, and upholding all things by the word of his power. When he had by himself purged our sins, sat down at the right hand of the majesty of the high, and having become so much more better than the angels has, he has by inheritance obtained more grace than they. Yeah, people, my point is simple here today. There's no reason. They were without excuse. You're definitely without excuse.
Come on.
You need to know and understand this word. You need to spend some time with Jesus. You need to spend some time with the Lord of Lords and Kings of Kings. Now, this was one of the most incredible things that I saw in the word here as we pushed on 31:30. He says, this is, I thank God for the remedy, because this is so good. He says, and many other people believe in him and say, when the Christ comes, will he do more signs than these which this man has done? See, you understand what I'm saying? See, somebody reading the word, somebody paying attention to the book, somebody looking at what the prophet said. See, because if they hadn't, they wouldn't know a comparison. They wouldn't have a comparison about Christ. Will he do more than what he said? What did he say? He'll heal the blind. He'll come to the poor. What did he say? Is there anything that he hasn't, that he's doing that he didn't say that he would do? What is he doing? He's doing exactly what he said he'd do. Will anybody perform any more? Will anybody do any more? Will anybody be more holy, more precious, more righteous, more loving, more giving? Will anybody? Come on!
That's right. All right.
That's what he's saying here to me. He then, the Pharisees heard the crowd murmuring these things concerning him. And the Pharisees and the chief priests and officers sent officers to take him. Now, you're really going to have to spare me a little minute here, because here's the problem here. Pharisees and the chief priests. First of all, that's a mouthful. Okay? You need to know that these are opposing groups. First of all, they ain't each other's back. They ain't together. They are not considering anything except for this killing Jesus. The Pharisees can do nothing according to Roman law. They have no governmental, no judicial, no legislation. They have no power whatsoever. It's the Sanhedrin and it's the Sadducees that have all the power. So I'm likening them to this. Pharisees, and some of you are going to get to this because you've done it before. I was young and ignorant. Wasn't married today. The Pharisees are ammonia and the Sadducees are bleach. Now put them together. Yeah, somebody know what I'm talking about. That's what you got. But they have considered to kill Jesus. They've come together to kill Jesus. 33, he says, then Jesus said to them, I shall be with you a little while longer, and then I will go to him who sent me. You will seek me and not find me, and where I am, you cannot come. Here's the ignorant response. Then the Jews said among themselves, where does he intend to go that we shall not find him? Does he intend to go and disperse among the Greeks and teach the Greeks? What is this thing that he said that you will seek me and not find me, and where I'm going you cannot come? Well, if you remember in John 6. That's what he was telling them. My father ain't your father. You have no idea what I'm talking about. You have no idea where I'm going. But those that do the will of God, that does His will, you understand? Those that desire to do His will, come on. Yeah. They know about where I'm going. Why don't you ask one of them? Why don't you ask one of those people that's seeking me and loving me and blessing me with His holiness, His purity, His sanctification? Somebody that's out there that's doing the right thing for me. I just was really blown away by what God was giving me here. And it told me something about us as people. If you're listening to me out there, don't be ignorant about this Jesus. You can afford to be ignorant about a whole lot of things. But they have shown you, the Jews have shown you, they're still waiting. Right now, this day. Waiting this day. Don't be ignorant about this Jesus. Get this book and start reading it. And I guarantee you, if you just pick it up every day and read it, God will reveal Himself to you, because the Word says, "Seek me and I will be found by you." All right, yeah, Lord. That's the Word. God can't be a liar. Come on now. Get this book and start reading it for yourself. Divide it. Come in here. Expect the pastor to do his job. That's okay. But don't expect him to do your job. Right. Yeah. His problem is he's carrying everybody else's burden. Carry on. I'm just saying, pick it up and carry it on. Get your book and start reading and desire to know this Jesus. Oh, because He'll reveal Himself to you. And He'll give you something that'll knock your socks off. He'll give you an experience with Him that nobody ever known about, could know about, will know about. He'll know about the things that you've done in private, that you can't even remember to do. Yes. There ain't nothing He don't know. And He'll show up just at the right time. Oh, with the mercy and grace, those two twins. And He'll say, come on, baby. Come on. I love you. That's our Jesus. That's our Jesus. I don't know where I'm at in my life. I'm so excited about this Jesus. Oh, it might be the gray hairs, it might be the old body, it might be the tear. I don't know, I don't care. But I'm so excited about the Jesus. If anybody tells you, hey, why you gonna say that book? Why you gonna read that about that Jesus? It's just sad stuff. All you do going around being I'm happy! Yeah. Don't let nobody tell you that you can't believe in Jesus and have joy and have peace. Oh, don't let them fool you. Don't let them fool you, y'all. Come on now. This gospel is too good. It's like I said to people, I'm just excited, man. I've never been so excited about the Word of God. You know, I've never been so excited about. I give thanks to my pastor. I'm not making small things of this. I thank God for Berean. I thank God that He brought me. I thank God that this small congregation of loving and believing Christians are joined together, and we're moving in the direction that God would have us to do. And it's for us to plant this Word of God. It's for us to give it out. It's for us to get involved in it, learn it, know it yourself, so you can go deep down in the scriptures. You go deep down in the verse. And when somebody's lost and somebody needs help, you can direct them in the way to God. You can't direct nobody with your ignorance. That's what these people were doing. You're listening to these clowns, these people that have no understanding about Jesus, and I'm supposed to listen to you? You see them every day on the job. I got a good one for you to ask them. You know, and I guarantee you it's going to come back to you the same way. So you see, because they're going to quote something. They're going to quote something they heard from somebody else. And then you going to say to them and say, hey, yeah. Where can I find that at? You know, you understand. Let me get back to you. It'll be 6 years. You never seen the person. Yeah, this word is too important. It's too important to each and every person. There's 7 billion people on this earth. They need to divide this word for themselves. They need to learn what's in this book, not what they think it means, but the spiritual understanding. Exegete the scriptures and get to understanding the word. We can't afford to be ignorant about this. We just can't afford to. And with that, I'll say that not everybody belongs to Jesus. And there's some out there, there are a lot that I'm speaking to out there today. If you're taking a sin, I don't know who's taking it. I can say that if you don't know Jesus, please, find a place that is preaching the gospel book. This in the scriptures.
Where?
You know, divided. You know, and find a pastor, somebody under you that knows this word of God and is going to help you to understand what you need to do in these last days. We need to fill ourselves up. You need to come in here and participate. We need to be willing to sacrifice. We need to be willing to take ministries of God and develop them on our own. We can't expect the body to go and move and separate it all over the place. We have to take some serious time and spend with this book so God can do with us as he's done with a number of other people. And dividing and showing exactly what he's saying. But if you are not and do not belong to Jesus, this is the day of salvation. Get under coverage. Go to Jesus. He is the Son of God. Say, I believe that you are the Son of God. There is no other way to the Father except through you. I believe that. And if there are any in here this morning, if there are any out there, make sure that doesn't just stay with you. You be fruit. Don't just be hearers. Don't just be hearers. Take action. Go and do something like God did. Send His Son to take care of us. He did something. He sent Jesus to take care of us. So with that, we'll be saying, we thank you, God. We bless you. And we give you praise. I ask that you do with each and every member here at Berean, all that comes in and goes out. And that you would make their minds through, oh God, that fertile, that they would be able to germinate your word, your ways. That these will grow in your word, in your wisdom, in your knowledge, in your truth. And know that you have covered them. Know that they belong to you. We thank you, oh God, and we praise you. In the blessed name of Jesus, we say amen.
Amen.
That's Donnie, I tell you. Brother Donnie, praise the Lord for him.
Yes.
Great message, amen. The doers of the word, not just hearers only. Like to divide the word of truth for yourselves. Apply those things to your life and impart to somebody else. They may have what you have in Christ Jesus, amen.
Amen.
Pray for us as we go to Hamilton's 5 o'clock. We got to be there at 5 o'clock in Hamilton. But it doesn't mean we be preaching for the hour. We got about 9 churches coming together. So we come to celebrate Jesus Christ. We talk about discipleship, making disciples. It should be all about. You can't make something, you have to make it by Him. Developed by Him. Amen. If you have nothing in His heart, how can you make disciples? How can you keep His commandments to go ye